Well, how do you start a day like today? I guess the best way would be Happy Father's Day to all of you where that's applicable. I guess the second would be, what a week. You know, I've been through many in my lifetime. The most important thing about this last week to me was I got to teach you firsthand. Just take a look at the last 3 days of articles if you have any question about that. In a way, today's nothing more than a summary. There's no I told you so's. There's just open the space between your ears. Take it all in. Look for relationships. Hey, this happened. Then what happened? And what might happen next? If that's what I'm able to do for you, I've been successful in what I look to do. Nonetheless, since there's really nothing going on for the next 2 or 3 weeks, let's spend most of our time on the week that was. From my perspective, everything pretty much happened the way it was supposed to. From my perspective, everything from the yuan to the yen to corn and soybeans reacted pretty much the way they should have. Yeah, there was a little bit too much exuberance both directions, but today's day and world, the way information flows, the way people can put a trade in on their phone, react to what just happened, it's becoming more commonplace. Take advantage of it. When you see something like that and the market and or any of the financial instruments are moving in a direction that are contrary to your beliefs, go the other way. Chances are it works. Anyhow, let's get to a few specifics. More of them deal with what I call the C and D part of the relationship and the effect of what's just happened. The A and B part of the relationship, where if A, then B, they were pretty much in line with what was expected. But now it's time to take a look at, gee, what if C and or D? What leads to one of them? I've given you 3 days of solid, quote unquote, journalistic expertise. I've printed out all of the charts, the yen, the yuan, the US 30, soybeans, corn, gold. There's really only two I want to concentrate on right now. One is gold, and the other is the US dollar. Well, kind of make it three. Let's add in US treasuries. China, well, their economy didn't bounce back as fast as they wanted it to from COVID. They lowered interest rates last week. That's not going to do much. China needs capital. China's got a couple pots of gold out there, one actual gold and the other US treasuries. When I look at trying to formulate C's and D's of what's next based upon what's happened, I look at things like, what if China decided to sell a portion, if not all, of its US Treasury holdings? What would happen? Well, it's kind of reflected in the fact that Powell paused and bonds, the yield curve, went nowhere. It's also reflected in Powell paused and gold, it went down. What's that tell you? Well, for me, it's an observation that says, I got to keep my eye on this. If China were to sell its gold, or some of it, you'd expect gold to go down. And if they were going to convert it from dollars into yuan, you would expect the dollar to go down and the yuan to increase in value. Might happen. Let's keep our eyes on it. But if it's looking at just U.S. federal debt, you would expect the debt, primarily as I use the 30-year, to go down. And you would expect the money they got from it, dollars, to be sold, so the dollar would go down and would go up. These aren't complicated, but in a way, you've got an indication it just might be going on. We'll see. Nobody knows the future. But if you put your time into determining and looking at what if, what's next? Why didn't this commodity or financial instrument react as the others did? Let me think. That'd be interesting to look at. There is one caveat I'll throw in there, and it's something I've traded my whole life because I've been a hedger my whole life. Corn and soybeans. I mentioned corn probably about, say a week or two ago. I said, I gotta keep my eyes on this. I was wrong. I should have just bought it. You had a situation where corn, soybeans, and a multitude of other commodities, when the dollar goes one direction, they head the other. Well, the dollar went down. Corn and soybeans went up. But as I said in one of my articles, you got to have 3 eyes on this market. Yeah, keep an eye on the chart, see if it's going up or down. But you also got to keep an eye on the weather and the crop reports. Well, let's keep an eye on those. They're bouncing off some lows. They were astronomically high post the war in the Ukraine. But there's something else going on here perhaps as well. Remember, corn and soybeans represent one of the largest exports of the United States. Really not a whole hell of a lot more for me to talk about today, other than I hope you've enjoyed the amount of time that we've taken to put together these what ifs. There are relationships that occur in today's markets. Those are the things you've got to embed in your own mind. Hey, historically, this happened. Well, what happened when it happened before? Oh, this happened. That's what I'm trying to teach you. It takes time. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Happy to bring it to you. And now I got to be honest with you. It's Father's Day. Hi, Dad. Miss you. But in the second breath, Ricky Fowler's leading the U.S. Open. They got McIlroy in second place. Yeah, Clark's playing well, and hey, who knows? Somebody come out and shoot a record round. Regardless, I'm going to go watch it. Hope you enjoy your Father's Day and the rest of your weekend, and thanks as always for joining in.